instead of a USB stick, I accidentally bought a USB card reader, which I never heard of before. Then I saw SD and micro SD, and I thought, could my camera be salvaged after all? I mean, it fits. Oh god. Hey, there they are. I'm so hungry, man. I don't even need much. I just need one raw egg and I'll be able to bake it with all this grease on my face. I'm in this dope room in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia because my flight got messed up on the way to Japan. So now I'm stuck here for one night. And the hotel is so far from the airport and it took us hours to get here. So I was prepared for the worst. But the worst kind of looks like this. Let's take a look, shall we? Ooh, decadent. Slippers, I like that. I'm not gonna use those skills. Ooh. Alright. Alright, I can take a bath. Oh my god, this is really cool. But really awkward if you're... Oh no, you can close the shutters. But hell to the no. I want to take a bath and look out of the window. The TV automatically turned on. Look at all these late value meals. Oh, up until 5 AM. I should take that. You got a desk right here for all your late night office work. A chair, you know, for personal psychoanalysis. Big ass bed. I'm talking about a big ass bed. What's the view like? Noise. Some good old Courage the Cowardly Dog. Okay, my room service just came in. I got this nice Caesar salad and a boy got umbrella though. It's not raining, it's not that sunny. The weather is beautiful. The feeling of Osaka is so different from Tokyo. It's just a suburban neighborhood. The hostel is. This is like actually really anime-like. Very nostalgic. Right now we're making our way, well I am making my way over to Osaka Castle, which is in a park. But the first cherry blossoms are visible right now in this lovely street. Bicycles are like a hot topic here. I'm really not the only one who's cycling. You can also see how cycle-friendly the roads are. But I mean, I cycled in Kyoto, it was just as easy to move around. But here it's even more convenient because I think the people in traffic know that cyclists exist, so they really watch out for you a bit more, perhaps. Look at all these great little pictures that they put on the wall here. Very cute. Cherry blossoms started blossoming in Osaka officially on March 28th, 29th. It's March 30th now. But according to delayed at the hospital. Today is actually the first day where the weather is so good that they're actually blossoming. So our timing could not have been better. Alright, so now that I'm nicely settled in a sunny park afternoon in Osaka, let's talk about the reason why I'm here one day later than anticipated. My flight started on Monday night from Amsterdam. I would fly from Amsterdam to Dubai, Dubai to Kuala Lumpur, and from Kuala Lumpur all the way to Japan. My first two flights were Emirates flights, and then the last one was Delaysia Airlines, and that was the airline with which I had booked the entire flight. I check in on Monday night at Schiphol Airport, and they say, we can only book your baggage all the way to Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, because for some reason your flight to Osaka doesn't show up in our system. A little bit of airline googling afterwards, they found out that my flight technically didn't fucking exist anymore. Rather than delays or postponing a flight or maybe even cancelling a flight, what they did was they preponed my flight, perhaps even weeks before I left. So they probably thought recently, Malaysia Airlines, they probably thought, that 11:45 p.m. flight isn't really working that well for us, so we're just going to switch it over to a flight at 10:30, which is like 1.5 hours earlier. So I can imagine I was probably not the only one missing their flight, but maybe the other ones were informed with an email. I never got the message. And they must have had my email because I got a confirmation email of my itinerary when I booked it in like January, so they did have my email. But as they figured out later, they never sent me an email that the flight had changed, therefore not giving me a chance to change my flight, book something else, get something figured out. Yeah. So I just ended up going to Kuala Lumpur. I thought, you know, they'll figure something out. They'll book me on the next flight, they'll provide accommodation for me, something like that. I called a lady from Malaysia Airlines on Monday night after I checked in at Schiphol, and she told me I booked you over for the next available flight to Osaka, which is fucking 24 hours later. And I will provide hotel accommodation as soon as you land in Kuala Lumpur. You go to the check-in desk and they will know all about your case. Of course I arrived and I didn't know shit. I arrived at 10 p.m. local time in Kuala Lumpur, and it wasn't until 3 a.m. when the ladies from the airline desk finally figured out, okay, here's your hotel voucher and this is your boarding pass for the next flight. So I landed on 10 p.m. Immigration was already crazy at Malaysia, but like, no shade. But then as soon as I came there, maybe it was also the language barrier, but they didn't understand anything about what happened. They were like, okay, so you had a flight delay. I did not have a flight delay. You guys messed it up fucking big time. Like, I already knew I wasn't going to be able to get the flight before I even boarded my first airplane. Like, that's how badly you messed up. So then they referred me to the delay team on the first level of the airport. And the first level of the airport is completely deserted. Apart from, you know, these random middle-aged guys who always hang around Asian airports, and they're never in uniform, so you don't know if they're here to work, or they're stuck here in between flights, or this is just their hangout place. So I had no idea who I was supposed to talk to about my delay. So that was just hours and hours and hours spent at an airport in the middle of the night, outside of the gate, where all the restaurants were closed. They gave us meal vouchers that none of the restaurants would take. And then by the time they finally figured out, okay, here you got your hotel voucher, it's not a hotel close to the airport, it's somewhere a little far away, but we're going to provide you with transport. We go downstairs where the transport guy is, and he says, we're not going to leave anytime soon. Why is that? It's because apparently 90 people were scheduled to have a delay and were supposed to, you know, be eligible for a hotel stay. So they were like, okay, we got like 10 to 15 people now. We have to wait for like the other 70 people. The other 70 people were probably decided not to fucking show up for transport because their next flight was in like 4 hours or so. It takes 1 hour to go to the hotel and 1 hour back. What's the fucking point? So they were probably just stuck there at the terminal, sitting there like beggars in a corner. And in the meantime, we were not allowed to be transported to the hotel, probably because they thought it was not like financially beneficial to transport a small amount of people. But like, we were tired as fuck, and we've been there for hours. Just to arrange a bus or a taxi or anything, really. In the end, I decided to take... I'm getting really distracted. Look at that. Puppies. This man. Live goals. Actually live goals. How many puppies are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. In a pram. With like a soft pastel pink sweater. So in the end I took a taxi with 2 other British/Australian ladies who were really nice and they loved my accent. So it took us over an hour to get there with the taxi. So I thought this is gonna be shit. You guys already know I was completely in the wrong. Okay, so now I'm in Osaka. Life is good. I'm gonna go to the castle, which is a little bit that away that we can't see yet. So like, I try not to be bitter because in the end I only lost time. I didn't lose any money. But the fact that they didn't inform me of the fact that they had cancelled my flight, terminated the existence of my flight weeks before without telling me. So that's already 1 strike. And then I call them and they say, okay, we're going to arrange hotel accommodation and the next flight. And that didn't happen because apparently it takes 48 hours for HQ to confirm your hotel booking. Okay, strike 2. And strike 3 was probably making me wait hours because the delay team didn't pick up the phone and was like completely missing in action at the airport. So that's already strike 3. And then strike 4 is when they finally got me the hotel voucher after hours, didn't give me a meal in the meantime, didn't upgrade me to business class or anything. So that's already strike 4, I guess. Then the 5th strike is making me wait hours to get transported to the hotel. And in the end, we had to do it out of our own pocket and buy ourselves a taxi trip. So like, that's really, really, really shitty service, Malaysian Airlines. And maybe it's just like a cultural thing, but I think the thing that really frustrated me the most was the fact that my frustration wasn't being mirrored at all. Like, I like my emotions being validated just like any other person, but the fact that I got really frustrated and this is like a case which is ridiculous and insane and just completely unfriendly towards the client, and all the Malaysian airline personnel did was just kind of like nod and look a little bit awkward and look a little bit flustered, but it didn't come up with solutions, which is, I guess, part of their job description. We were trying to think outside of the box, like, okay, if you can't provide us with a hotel stay, or like, we don't have enough hours to go back and forth to a hotel, why don't you just open a lounge for us? That wasn't possible. Could you provide us with food in the meantime? Wasn't possible. Could you at least give us like an upgrade on our next flight? Wasn't possible. What about monetary refunds or anything like that? Even monetary was like a little bit of a difficult word for them. Anyway, I'm gonna be bitter later and super happy now. The weather is amazing. The whole park is filled with other people, with tourists, with Japanese people trying to enjoy the day and enjoy the beginning of the spring. So I'm just gonna show you the rest of the city today on me bike. I'm not saying this isn't really impressive, but I'm getting really distracted by the smell of food. My first takoyaki. Oh, you can feel the dough. The dough inside is still soft. It's like this really interesting mix between savory and sweet. So like the taco, the octopus in it is really savory and very salty. Then the sauce is really sweet. But it's still pretty warm, so I can't eat it that fast. You know what the dough reminds me of? Poffertjes. It is the exact same taste and consistency as poffertjes. The poffertjes you eat with like butter and syrup, and this is just super savory, and it's got, you know, octopus inside. Really good. This whole thing, for me, it's a meal, and it's 500 yen, which is about $5, which is exactly the same amount I paid to rent a bicycle for today. Look at that octopus. Ooh. You really can't eat this, Sophie. That is legit an octopus tentacle. You're even made like Japanese poffertjes. You're basically just Japanese poffertjes. 3 good boys. 2 Labradors, 1 Inu. Shiba Inu. What's happening over here? Use 5 yen to pray to the chicken god. Maybe another day. Any Asher cosplayers? Kidding. Seriously, a strategically placed katana and we still didn't get a good look at his ass. Very Naruto, such a nerd. Sakuramon, the cherry gate.
Well, since 500 years over there.
This is a time capsule. It is requested that the upper capsule be opened at the beginning of every century and that the lower one remain unopened until the year 6970. That is fucking insane. Samurai cosplay. Reminds me of Samurai Jack somehow. Holographs.
I got a blank space, babe.
Your English pronunciation is not optimal, but if I understand correctly, they're making an announcement that someone left their change in the vending machine. And they just wanted to let you know they're worried about all the loose coins that you might be missing out on. Kagura vibes. Okay, so quick summary. Hideyoshi Toyotomi was someone who was under the guidance of Oda Nobunaga, which was one of the generals who wanted to unite all of Japan. So after he died, Hideyoshi-sama continued his efforts and managed to make all kinds of feudal lords pledge allegiance to him under the emperor. And then he built Osaka Castle, which was like the strongest stronghold at the time. And then when he was 56, he had his first kid. Guys, infertility, seriously. And then he died at 62, so he left behind a 6-year-old son. Tragic. And then Osaka Castle actually got completely annihilated, and it wasn't until 1959 that modern Japanese people found the first foundation, like the first piece of stone, and then they excavated it up until 1978 or something. So it's quite a rich history. Hideyoshi also came from rags to riches because he was born from a poor farmer. He looked like a monkey at birth. Ice cream 食べますか？食べませんか？でも今日の天気は暖かいも気持ちいいですよ。I mean, it's perfectly soft eyes. How could I say no? Shinsabashi, which is this huge mall which we are going to conquer. Sanrio Gallery, which is secretly what we came for. Look, cinnamon rolls, literal cinnamon rolls. Another reverse harem anime. It's all been done before, but I love it. Who are they? I bought stuff as expected, but 2 of them are souvenirs, so I don't know who the unfortunate people are who I'm going to give them to, but it's gonna be great. What happened to grown-up shopping? This is like the level of hints I need if you want to tell me something. Maybe they want you to play pachinko. Maybe.